Eh, I'm tired. I worked 6 days in a row already this week, and I still don't have a day off coming up tomorrow. I do have one coming up soon, but I have to work one more day before my day off comes. 7 days in a row. And I'm tired. I'm not just tired of working, I'm tired of life. I'm tired of my life. I don't want my life to end. I want it to change, but I don't know how. It's possible that I could have the change I want without anything else changing. I mean, without anything outside changing. Outside of myself changing. It could be the only change that needs to be made is one inside myself. It's possible. Sometimes I see myself, I look in the mirror and I see a little girl. I see like this little 8-year-old girl who never got to be herself, never got to really enjoy life. Because it's hard to enjoy life when you're not being yourself. And I see this little girl and she just looks so soft and sweet and you know, not the kind of person I would expect to see managing a store, which is one of the challenges that I have currently. Going through this gender exploration while I work as a manager at a store, and I'm in this like my brain is fixated on the issue of respect. Right? Because I go to work, I look in the mirror and I see this little 8-year-old girl. I don't mean like the way that I look right now. I mean like if I put on a wig and makeup and that sort of thing. Uh, but so I go to work, having seen this little 8-year-old girl and thinking to myself, no one would ever take orders from that little girl. It would be almost like an 8-year-old girl walking into the store and starting to just boss people around. I imagine they would just start laughing, right? And this is kind of how I feel when I see myself that way. And there's a part of me that feels like I don't want to be a manager while I go through this. I don't. But at the same time, I can't stand being at the bottom of the totem pole either. It drives me nuts, especially at the place like where I work, where I don't have much. I was about to say I don't have much respect for the people above me, but that might come across the wrong way because it's not that I don't. It's not that I dislike them or as people. It's more that I don't really want them being my boss. So uh, it is motivating me to become self-employed. Have you seen my boobs lately? I haven't even taken estrogen in I don't know how long. I still have boobs. I am still taking the spironolactone. Cooking macaroni and cheese. I think we can turn that down a little bit. What am I gonna? Yeah, the 8-year-old girl. Maybe I should make that the subject of this video. Is the little 8-year-old girl that I see? Sometimes it's not an 8-year-old girl, but sometimes I might go back in time to say when I was in junior high, high school, and I imagine the girl that I used to talk to, and I imagine what it would have been like if I'd had breasts in high school, and I'm talking to this girl and she's telling me about her breasts, which was something that actually happened when I was in school. This girl who, I think she liked me. We didn't really talk all that often. It wasn't like we were chatty or anything like that. But one day I was in class and she was sitting in front of me, and she like turned around and started talking to me, and she all this almost like straight out of her mouth, she said, "My breasts are kind of fluffy." And I was interested in breasts, you know. I was very very much. I wouldn't say I was a typical teenage boy. Certainly didn't feel typical, but when I was remembering this, seeing the little girl in the mirror, it might help if I actually put on a wig and makeup and look something like a little girl, just so you can kind of see what I was talking about. But I'm not going to do that right this second. But I pictured myself talking to this girl, like, you know, at home, like maybe going to her house or having her come over to my house, and we're these two young, feminine people. Like, in my reminiscing, I was still male. I just had breasts, and so I had this sort of fantasy, you might call it that, of her and I like sitting across from each other in some private, you know, like in a bedroom or something. And we have privacy, and she and I are like fondling each other's breasts, you know. And there was a part of me that wanted that, you know. There was a part of me that said that sounds like, you know, the sort of thing that would make me aroused. So I see an 8-year-old girl, I see a 12-year-old girl. Maybe I should say a trans, not girl, because like I said, even typically when I see myself in these fantasies, I still have a penis. It is difficult for me to imagine what it would be like to have a vagina. And when I say difficult, I just mean that I don't feel like I have any certainty, like this is what it would be like. You know. My head is too heavy almost to keep making this video. But then I have moments when I look in the mirror and I see a man, and I think, I'm not trans, I'm just a man with a feminine side, you know? That there is a part of me, that there was this 8-year-old girl inside of me that wanted to have her day in the sun, and it's not that was the real me, that was just a part of me, right? This is what I think sometimes when I see myself like look like a man. Or I think about like some of the things I read about, like initiations and things like that in the past, where in certain cultures men would go through initiations, and when they came out the other side they were termed gentlemen or soft men, because these initiations tended to have feminizing effects on them, right? But they were still, you know, they still saw themselves as men. They were just softer, more gentle. And there are times when I'm going through this and I think that seems to be about kind of where I'm at. Like I can sometimes look, a lot of times it depends on kind of like the angle of the light, right? Like when I go to work and I look in the mirror in the bathroom, because of the way the lighting is, apparently, I see someone who looks like a girl. But then I go to Starbucks and use their bathroom, and because the light has more like a direct, almost like that there, where I get like the shadows in my eye sockets, I think, wow, I look like a man. But when I see the man, I don't think, oh, that's just an illusion or I'm fooling myself. I feel like there is a part of me there too. Uh, I can't. I would say it's confusing, but it's not so much that it's confusing, really. I mean, like I have two basic ideas: either I'm trans or I'm just a man with a feminine side. Those are basically the two ideas. It's not so much confusing. I think maybe as it is just kind of hard to see, right? Cloudy. It's kind of cloudy, kind of vague. Like I can't really. When I see the young girl, it is hard to say that like that's me. That's 100% me. There's just a little girl there. There's nothing manly about me at all. You know, it's hard to see that. I'm gonna have to put the camera down and go finish cooking my food. I need both my hands to do that, and hopefully that fan wasn't too loud while I was recording. 11 minutes. This is